Well, so today we're going to start a new unit and it's called transformations. Very important unit in geometry. And so I know you guys are really smart and you've done transformations before. You've transformed things before. For example, when you are on your phone looking at an image, a picture of your beautiful selves, what do you do to the picture sometimes to edit that picture, right? You sometimes rotate that picture, don't you? You sometimes make that picture bigger or smaller. Okay, right? So now those are parts of transformation. And believe it or not, your phone has mathematical programming to be able to do those functions and those operations, right? So today, and we're going to continue this idea of transformation. We're actually going to try this out, okay? So let's look at this exercise here, right? We don't have to be mathematical. We don't have to use the vocab, okay? We don't have to use the vocab. So just in your own words, try before me, pause this video, try before me, uh, before I do this. How did picture A get to picture B, right? This cute little dog right here. How did how did we get from A to B? How do we do that? So notice, right? Pause it. Okay. Notice that picture A, right? Something happened here. And I have this, I can use this program here and just go like this, right? Here's picture A. Now, what did I do to picture A to get to B? Okay, well, first it looks like very obvious one. One is smaller than the other, correct? Picture B is smaller, image B is smaller. So, all right, I'm gonna make that smaller. That's my first transformation, right? I'm gonna make it smaller, right? So, smaller. Okay, awesome. And actually, in math, uh, we call that a dilation. All right. So what's the next thing that happened, right? The next thing, well, one is here and the other one is here. So I moved, right? See, I moved. So moved. In math, what do we call that? In math, we call this a translation, okay? We call this a translation. We move from one side to the other. And lastly, we're still not there yet, right? We made the picture smaller, we moved it, but there was something else that we did to it, correct? To get here. So what was that other thing that we did? We rotated the image, didn't we? So that last final step was to rotate the image, right? I should make that a little bigger. And there it is, right? We've gotten there. So rotation, right? And that's the actual mathematical term for what we just did. That's the actual mathematical term for the transformation we just did. And I can't seem to spell this right. There you go. Rotation. All right. So those are the three. There are three ones. We just have three. We've identified three. There is actually four, right? And the last one is actually called a reflection. And the last one is a reflection, right? So reflection, pretty simple. Sounds like a word you've heard before, and it's just what it is. When I flip something over, right? You're looking at yourself in the mirror. That's a reflection of yourself. Okay, great. So actually, we have three things here. We have a dilation, we have a translation, we have a rotation, and we have a reflection. Now, three of these are called rigid motion. Three of these are rigid motion. I want you at home to try and identify which are the rigid motions, okay? If you need to look up the word rigid, all right, look it up. Look up the word rigid motion and see what happens, all right? So identify what are the rigid motions here? Now, we're going to look at what a dilation, right? A dilation. What would I need? I'm making something bigger or smaller, correct, right? So in this image here, I made my puppy smaller. I made it smaller. How do I know how small to make it? So how do I know how small to make it? This has something called a scale factor. Scale factor. Right? That tells me how much bigger or smaller I'm getting. It's a multiplicative quantity, okay? It's a number that tells me how much big or how much smaller should I get. So here it is, okay? Here's exercise 2, right? Make sure you do this one. All we gotta do here is match. Match. Which is a reflection, which is a dilation, which is a translation, which is a rotation. So for example, if I think that this image is a reflection, then I would do that and match those two, right? So at home, I want you to match here, and we will continue this.